headphones, and they
Over-ear
aren't
muff
compatible with
phones.
hats. Yeah, they aren't really compatible. I used to do in-ear headphones, but I switched over to these ear ones, and they aren't as compatible
All right, my
with
friends, we
hats.
are live, and so I need my castmates to hold it up for just a moment. Welcome, my friends. We are back in the Krieg Dominion. I am, of course, Omar Krieg, your Lord and Commander, and other fanciful titles of the Krieg Dominion, and I am your host for tonight's show, the series premiere of Second Star, a Traveler 2300 AD role-playing experience. I'm just going to jump right into it. Follow me as we explore the unknown and other things. At first, the screen is black. A flicker of static splits the view of nothing, followed by what appears to be a shot of rolling green hills dotted with trees. That was distracting. A panning camera lazily turning from left to right. Thereupon, a clearing amidst some trees. We can see two masses of people, one wearing chainmail and mounted upon horseback, the other a loose, ill-disciplined line just inside the tree line, wearing leathers and brandishing axes. Two lines, one at either end of a field, facing each other. Flags and banners fluttering in a light wind. A bird chirps and takes flight as though spooked, darting across the field of view. Horns blare, loud, piercing, first from one side and then the other in answer, and the cacophony escalates to crescendo. The two lines begin moving towards each other. The horse-mounted side explodes across the field, the thudding of hooves and the screams of charging men, lances held steady. The other side snarling, vicious, bloodthirsty. The two lines meet. A flicker of static and the screen changes again. "Hey!" a man says, not quite loudly enough to be a shout. "I was watching that. That's that Blood and Glory. I love that show." Another voice can be heard, perhaps in agreement, while a third mutters something not quite caught by our camera. Another shot, a similar field of rolling hills, some trees scattered about, and a rolling river dividing the field from top left to bottom right. Two massive robots closing in upon a third, kneeling, broken and battered, its hull blackened in dozens of places, and chunks clearly missing from its armored exterior. Well, there you have it, mech fans. The debutantes win another match, bringing their record for the season to 3-0 after their decisive victory against the Industrialists. And on the screen, the shot of the robots fades.
What does the stream look like?
Not this stream. On the screen, the shot of the robots fades to a logo sporting the letters GTL broadly on the screen. Join us next week as we watch the Dragonborn face off against their rivals, the Golden Suns.
Watch, but I'm curious what it looks like.
This has been a production of, and the screen cuts again. Now to what appears to be.
You want to hear the other people, or are you fine, or okay?
Is he doesn't know he's still talking, is he? He doesn't know he's still talking into the mic.
Wiggles! Mute your damn self!
Wow, this is a great start. No technical problems whatsoever. Anyway, let me see, where was I at? The screen cuts again, now to what appears to be a football game between two brightly colored sports teams, and the score in the bottom reads 21-21 going into the final quarter. Fine, whatever, watch your damn ball game. The first man from earlier speaks up, and the camera pans over to a middle-aged, overweight man as he slams an empty mug down on top of the bar. Should get my ass to bed anyway. And as he stands, the chair he was seated in creaks from the shifting in the weight. Our camera pulls back to review the lounge of a starport terminal. Only a few people present in a dimly lit section of the facility. A viewport nearby shows the black of space and the faint glow of the local golden yellow sun crests near one corner and slowly rolls to another, never revealing the star in full as this part of the station spins slowly onward. It is here we see our first member of our crew, a tall man, hunched over a table along a wall, deep in his thoughts, as another person approaches him from the main concourse. And lastly, along the bottom of the screen, yellow-green letters indicate that the date is Monday, the 5th of April, 2297. Whew, that was a lot to read through. That was more than I thought it was. Holy cow. Welcome, my friends. Also, thank you, Greasy Mashed Potatoes, for the follow. I'm assuming that's one of my castmates here. And if I had to guess,
I'm not in the stream.
You're not in the stream?
Well, I mean, technically I'm in the stream.
What do you mean you're not in the stream? This is actually your scene coming up.
Well, no, I'm in the stream. I'm in the game. Therefore, I'm in the stream.
Yeah, exactly.
See?
So, introductions. Following the year-long training at various places on the surface of terrain And in the space of the Alpha Centauri system, you're granted 1 month of vacation time prior to your shipping out into the French Arm, where, presumably for the next few years, you'll be far from home and family. So your vacation time has ended, and you have now been brought back to the Alpha Centauri system, assuming you actually left in the first place, and are now aboard the Terrain Interplanetary Starport, a transfer station that receives passengers from the planet and abroad. A shuttle will soon be departing from the TIS that will take you to the Wayfinder, where it will dock, offload passengers and luggage, and then come back to the TIS. Mr. McAvoy, you're seated at the Starport terminal, waiting for your turn to hop onto the shuttle, and there is a short, squat man. He's probably about 5'4", weighing about 180 pounds, probably about his mid to late 20s, dark hair and eyes. If you didn't know any better, you would have to think something Chinese, maybe Japanese, as far as his facial features are. And from his general appearance, you get the idea that he is not fat. Like, this is a dude that probably works out quite a bit. He is approaching you. He's wearing a Flex uniform. And for my viewers, Flex is the Far London Exploratory and Colonial Support Services, which is the organization for which our players' characters are a part of. So we have this short, stocky dude wearing a Flex uniform. He is carrying the same rank insignia as you, which is the Senior Trooper, and he's approaching you. So, Mr. Zamerson, as your Discord name goes, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your character, and then we will proceed with the roleplay.
Right. Well, comparatively to this man that's approaching him, this is a very tall man. 6'6", probably pretty heavy, over 200 pounds. He's puffing on a cigar right now, holding a helmet in his shoulder. He's wearing his full body armor, looking very worn. He seems to have been wearing it for quite a long time, through all manner of missions, dangers, and all that such. Yeah. And one of the most notable features, I would assume, anyways, for anybody, especially for this man approaching him, is his not very well concealed cybernetic arm.
My memory says that your cybernetic arm is not only barely concealed, it's basically broadcasted that, hey, I have a cybernetic arm.
It is indeed. I wouldn't say broadcasted, but it's definitely not concealed in any way. He's not wearing a cloak, like a mysterious cloak, so we can hide it.
No, but I wouldn't put it past your character the way you described him during character creation. So,
let's just say that he might use it for a handshake.
Well, it's your right arm, if I recall. That is cybernetic? Yeah, so yeah, why don't you go ahead and tell the viewers just a smidge about yourself, and then we'll go into where that handshake takes place.
Backstory?
No, you the player.
Oh, like me?
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to say a whole hell of a lot if you don't want to. Just,
About me myself. I mean, there's nothing much to say. I mean, I'm just a random Joe Schmuck on this game. Just to have some fun, really.
Okay.
I mean, I'm here for a really cool adventure with some buddies. I mean, I don't really know anybody here, but I'm hoping to get to know all of you guys.
Isn't that the point of role playing games? It's not about beating the big bad evil monster at the end. It's the friends we make along the way. I've heard that before. I've heard that before.
Now I'm just hoping this game lasts for longer than a week.
Oh,
the game that I'm having is already ended.
Oh, jeez, that's wild. And unfortunate. Yeah, no, that's unfortunate. And if you recall, actually, Zam, you were part of my, I'll call it my wave 2 of recruits, because before you, we had Charles, who is here tonight, and Lee, who isn't able to make it tonight, who came from my very first wave, where we actually had the sit-down meeting talking about all the things that we talked about that led to this this little enterprise, as it were. No puns about starships and stuff like that. Yeah, you actually joined the group from the Traveler Discord, whereas the other two, I actually gained them off of a few others I gained from my initial recruiting efforts.
They're veterans, you see.
Well, yeah, if by veteran, they've been
I
here
suppose
literally
I
a
should
week
also mention-
longer.
I suppose I should mention for anybody, I mean, I guess for any audience members here, who might be in the future yelling and screaming at me all manner of obscenities for my lack of knowledge in this amazing TTRPG game, but I am quite new to this game.
Yes, actually,
So,
for a moment I
bear
had
with
forgot. For a moment I did forget about that. But yeah, Zamerson is one of the newer members of the Traveler community at large, but he is picking it up pretty fast so far. He has blown me up with a million questions, which is fine. I'm totally okay with that. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get to this handshake. We've got this short, squat dude who looks more like he spends more time in the gym than he does a donut shop approaching you. And it's obvious that you guys work for Flex, because I'm assuming at this point, and you could change this detail if you like, but I'm assuming you're probably in uniform or you are otherwise easily identifiable as a member of the Flex organization.
Well, he's got to wear the uniform if he wants to be a part. Yeah.
Yeah, usually, yeah. So
Can't go with his own
no,
custom gear. But I'd
the
like to think that he's wearing some armor underneath or something along those lines.
well, so the Flex uniform standard is, when you're on a ship or in a space station, you're probably going to be wearing what they call a skin suit or a skinny. It's basically basically like it sounds, a skin suit. Yeah, but the point of it is it can quickly seal your body off from rapid atmospheric loss.
Oh, that's pretty. That sounds pretty useful.
The back of the collar or just above the upper back, lower neck is a little bulge or whatever you want to call it, where, kind of sort of like other sci-fi TV series, a helmet may suddenly pop out and seal against the rest of your uniform to give you a little bit of oxygen. Now, mind you, this is more of a life-saving and emergency response than it is this is what you would wear in lieu of a vac suit. But it's a vac suit that'll give you an hour or two, ideally sufficient time to get to a more fitting, no puns again, vac suit that you can use when there's suddenly no atmosphere for you.
I see. In that case, the armor that I described earlier in the character description, since I wasn't aware I was supposed to be wearing a skin suit, apologies.
No worries, I didn't
can
give you
imagine
that
what
much of
he's
a heads
wearing.
up.
You could imagine that, that's probably what he's going to be wearing during combat or anytime he needs it, basically.
Yeah. Your armor and all your gear, you're, like I said, you're literally coming back from leave and showing up at the ship as your quote-unquote first duty station, as far as Flex is concerned. So you've got luggage that is in transit. You've probably got a bag or two that you're carrying by hand. So your armor is going to be either probably in your luggage, to be totally honest. Like that's not going to be an easy thing to carry around. As well as, weapons that you may be bringing with you that are going to be in some sort of, well-marked, clearly identified, appropriate shipping containers. You may have, the future is a little bit weird when it comes to carrying weapons, but you're also in the Corps, so you're probably not going to be openly displaying. And since you're in, like, an official transit state, you're not going to be, probably not going to have too much of any sort of weapon on your person. So
yeah, I would imagine that there's probably some regulations to just having weapons.
Yeah, like you might get away with like having a knife on your in a wrist sleeve or something like that, but also like there's security checkpoints all over the place.
Yeah,
You're in you're in an airport. You're probably not gonna be wandering around too much with that kind of stuff on you.
Yeah, I guess all my explosives are probably going to be left in the bag somewhere, I imagine.
Yeah,
I
again.
should get those through the checkpoint.
Well, we'll just wave some hands and pretend it's good to go. Speaking of hands, this individual comes up to you and he's like, McAvoy, right? And he kind of leans in and squints at your little nameplate, which, in my mind has always been on the left side of the chest.
Yeah.
And he says, like, hey, okay, McAvoy, hey, I'm, oh, God, my eyes are bouncing all over my notes here. La, 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 la.
He puffs
There we go.
Puffs a smoke from his cigar and, says, yep, that's me.
All right.
Kinda held his hand
Oh,
out,
yeah.
elbow hand.
Yeah. He'll shake it, and he has like no hesitation in grabbing it. Some people might have problems with cybernetics, but he doesn't. He says, "I'm Frank Benefield." The other senior trooper on the Wayfinder. I was actually, yeah, he pulls out this little tablet from a side pocket or something, and starts flipping through it. And and you can kind of glance and see that there's like an image of your face with your name next to it. He's like, "Yep, there you are, right there. I got to go get one more person, and then here, let's head on over to the shuttle. Let's see if we can find this other guy I got to find. This is my job for today." But yeah, the shuttle's leaving. So it's about noon right now, and Benefield's like, "Yeah, the next shuttle leaves at 1, so we kind of need to get over that way pretty quick." And he hits you up. He's like, "Where are you from?"
I am from Ellis.
Ellis. American in you. That explains a lot about that accent. I'm not doing a very good accent. Yeah. And Frank Benefield, his actual first name is Francesco. So I'm picturing some sort of like Chinese appearance or Asian appearance, but with clearly European-styled names. So obviously he probably comes from all over, but he says in response, he's like, "I grew up on Ducal, worked in the mines for a while." And I have no idea if I'm saying Ducal right, but it is located in the Epsilon Eridani system.
Showing a mild lack of interest.
Yeah, and he picks up on that. He's not too slow on that, you know. But anyway, he leads you through. He starts talking kind of randomly, trying to get a feel for what kind of person you are, because you guys are going to be.
We're gonna be buddies.
Yeah,
best friends.
Yeah, something like that at least, because you guys are both senior troopers, which means you guys are the fire team leaders for the two fire teams.
Live and we're gonna die on the same ship, more than likely.
It is entirely possible. So yeah, he actually asked you. He's like, "Hey, so, I've been here for a little while, and I met the LT and I met the sergeant. Have you served with either of them? Do you know?"
No, not really.
Well, let me tell you, LT's a hard ass. But I suppose any lieutenant worth their salt is going to be a hard ass. But she takes the idea of being a hard ass to a whole new level. Got us reading all these stupid books, even.
Yeah, I've dealt with plenty of hard asses before. I'm sure I can deal with this one.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm going to just take a note and see if you can handle what she's got to throw at us when you get back to the ship. But Sarge ain't too bad. Sergeant Hurst. Nope, that's Lieutenant Hurst. Sergeant Franco. He's all right. He's not too bad. He, of course, he's got to back the LT and when he's in front of us troops. But you know how that goes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys are gonna start making your way over towards the docking area. Is there anything you want to do? You've got about, we'll say about a half hour ish before you really need to be at the terminal for the shuttle. Is there anything you want to stop by and grab or do, sell, get rid of, harass? I just throwing out random words. I'm not gonna lie.
Wiggles, he was talking to you.
No, I was talking to you.
Wait, me?
Yeah.
Oh no, I have nothing else I want to do. No.
Okay. All right. So you're just gonna.
I'm assuming I got all my my affairs sorted, and I bought everything that I want.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But maybe you want to stop in the gift shop and grab, a stuffy for the LT, just as a joke. I don't know. I'm making shit up at this point.
I could buy George a fucking stuffy if I knew who he was. I'd buy him one maybe.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned George, Mr. Wiggles.
I do know George,
Agent.
But, I don't know if he's gonna be here.
Agent Wiggles, you're up. You're the next one. Again, it is roughly noon. You guys are both on this starport. My question for you is, where on the station are you? Think of the TIS as kind of like a medium-sized airport. You're somewhere on the main concourse. You've got a few sections down the way to go before between you and the terminal. Senior Trooper Benefield hasn't quite figured out where you are yet. But where are you? What are you looking at doing? What are you trying to figure out?
Where would I be? Since I'm the executive officer, that would probably mean I've been part of the team getting the ship underway, right? Because we're leaving soon, right?
Yes. However, you haven't been on the ship yet. And I'm assuming when the 1 month leave opportunity came up that you had some sort of familial business back in, maybe at Barnard Star, where your character's from, or something along those lines that you, in short, you haven't yet made it to the ship itself yet. Your wife, on the other hand, has. She's been there for a couple weeks now as they wrap up the refit cycle and start prepping for their embarkation.
Okay, I'm in the concourse. I am at one of those newspaper stands, and I'm going through one of the news feeds or to buy and update my my smartphone with, and I get a coffee.
Okay.
And I'm reading through it, and then I start seeing whether or not I have any kind of wireless text to the ships, or to start downloading the various important files I need to start overviewing.
I think that's actually a really good thing that you brought up. You do have some connectivity to the ship. It's kind of, you have to go through a few routers and whatnot, as opposed to direct connection to what we would otherwise consider the Wi-Fi network for the ship. Because you do have credentials that you've gotten uploaded onto your Link device, it's not like you're just some rando trying to sign on as the guest or whatever. Like, you can actually get some of the information.
No. The Wi-Fi actually exists in 2300, whereas in Traveler, it doesn't kind of exist at all.
Yeah, it's a little weird. The 2300...
Traveler was in the 70s, and Wi-Fi didn't exist, so,
Yeah, exactly. And 2300 has tried to keep up, or at least extrapolate off of scientific concepts that were present at the time of writing. But yeah, no, so you're able to get some of this information, but I feel like you wouldn't necessarily get all of the information without being aboard the ship to get all of your, I'll just say, security credentials established. You'd have some. Go ahead.
And I sent a note to my wife, letting her know that I was on station. I'll be on board the ship, and I'm probably like a couple hours at the most. And I'll let the CO know that I'm here, and I'll be on board soon.
Okay. Yeah, the CO will definitely shoot back a quick little note. All right, Roger, understood. Can't wait to see you. Something, CO stuff. As you start making your way towards the terminal, there's two individuals that are also wearing the skin suits that Flex uses. They're approaching from, so you're going one direction on the concourse, and here comes these two from the other end, if that makes sense. Because I feel like this is going to be a spin hab, or spin cycle, or not. That's not the word I want to use. Not spin pods, but it's a hab ring. Jesus Christ, I don't know why that was so hard to get my brain to wrap. So you're going one direction, they're coming from the opposite end. But you'll notice, you may even recognize, I know we established to some degree the connection between George and McAvoy, whose first name is slipping my mind. Is it Shane or is it Steve?
Yes. Yes, to the first one. Shane,
okay. So you may or may not recognize him. And then McAvoy, you may or may not recognize George, although he's kind of an easy guy to recognize, as tall and skinny as he is.
Well, I'd like to think that I wasn't... I'd like to think that I'm kind of chatting with my senior trooper here. Like, we're just kind of, senior trooper is probably going off about something, and I'm probably listening, and, I'm just like,
yeah. Yeah, he's definitely trying to give you a bit of a rundown on some of your individuals, but he's probably going like a mile a minute, or it's just nothing's really standing out and lodging into your attention. Too much information at one time.
Yeah, gotta figure it out over time.
How much grab does the hab have?
Oh, we can.
How floating am I?
Oh, we could probably just assume something, a nice, luxurious, comfortable half a G.
So I can do big jumps, do moonwalking steps.
Yeah, like you can, or somewhere in the neighborhood of the moon. Well, no, the moon is like 1/6. You can get some really good arcs on that one. But I'm thinking like in a third to half a G range.
Damn, I love those G's.
So many G's.
Yeah, so much.
Yeah. George is on a people mover. Have you ever seen Have you ever seen like the original Mobile Suit Gundam? Probably not, because
yeah,
no, it's
previous
animated,
comments.
it's cool, so you haven't seen it.
Please,
No, okay, no, okay.
Go ahead.
We are not
So the
weeaboos.
ship,
Hold
so
on.
the ship the ship, right, it has no artificial gravity, so they have these people movers inside them, which is basically just a handrail that moves you along hallways. And you just kind of float and you grab onto it, and it just kind of moves, because you know how airports have people movers, right? But they're basically just flat escalators.
Yeah.
The same concept, except it's something you hold on to and it moves you along.
Right.
And George is just kind of skipping along with it as he's enjoying his coffee.
Okay, so he's just kind of.
like Capri Sun, like in a Capri Sun pouch, because we're in low gravity, so I can't actually sip out of it.
Well, no. Okay, so just for Zam, yeah, yeah, for Zam's, yeah, for Zam, who may not necessarily understand where you're coming from, you know, the space is 0G. Excuse me, let me rephrase that. The Habring is producing some gravity, but obviously being in space in general, you've got to be really, really, really adamant and very attentive to maintaining as clean of an environment as you can. That means like spills have to be cleaned up immediately. Particulate matter, you know, dusty, gritty, dirty, grungy things, like they all got to be picked up, because if even in the low gravity, that stuff will still settle and wander off and everything. But especially if there's no gravity, it gets caught up in the air currents, and then next thing you know, all your air ventilation shit is all backed up because there's all this dust that's just being collected and not being filtered properly.
Yeah, so McGavie is like smoking a cigar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, the weird counterintuitive things that'll happen is like when you smoke on Earth, right? The smoke dissipates all around you,
Mm-hmm.
and that's mostly due to air currents and gravity.
Mm-hmm.
With so little gravity, smoke will just kind of build in a cloud around you and won't really move away unless you like get a fan to actually blow it away from you.
And
That's fine.
And a fan would push it away, but it wouldn't necessarily. It still wouldn't necessarily dissipate. What the best option for that is, you'd have to have some sort of vacuum to pull it and then collect it, and so that it would be entered into the filtration. Well, no, we're talking about the smoke you exhale, and the smoke that comes off the end of the burning part of it.
Yeah, it would just form into a cloud, into a sphere around you, because it wouldn't dissipate.
Right.
That's fucking cool. Holy shit.
Yeah, space is weird.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just like, I'm a space nerd, so yeah, you know.
He's got a cool cigar cloud around him. Hell yeah.
Yeah, except for the part that does.
I'm not saying, not a bad thing. I'm just trying to paint a picture of like something that would actually be happening. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not even.
Smoke. Yeah.
I don't even think you were trying to make it a bad thing.
No, it's like, so I'm drinking coffee at a Capri Sun pouch because you know I can't sip coffee in a half a G. It doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, man.
All right, so
anyway,
yeah, go ahead, please continue.
So George is holding on to the people walker with his foot.
Yeah.
And he smells the particular brand of cigar that Shane likes to smoke, and he like looks around because as a lifelong spacer, smoke generally means shit's about to go really bad. and he sees the trooper there, and he goes, "Shit, out."
Hold on, I don't know what happened on my end. I don't know if I'm assuming you guys heard that. I didn't catch whatever. I didn't catch what you just said there. Shane put it out. Okay, got it. I don't know if you overpowered your mic and your mic was like, "Nope, I'm not doing all that." I don't know what happened. The last few words I didn't catch. I got it from context. Yeah, no, I got it from context at this point. No, please continue. I'm sorry. That was just for me to make sure I heard what you said.
What are you gonna do? Take my cigar?
Yes.
What? You better not. I'll react violently. I will. I'll do it. Don't make me do it. Oh, yeah, he backed down.
Don't smoke.
I do it.
Don't smoke. It's bad to do it inside enclosed spaces.
Are you actually saying that to me?
Yes, I'm saying that to you.
Not for nothing. Benefield's kind of like Benefield is giving you a look of he's not going to argue. He recognizes McAvoy almost immediately because again, I'm sorry, not McAvoy, Wyatt, George Wyatt. He recognizes him really fast because again, he has the tablet. He was sent to the station from the ship with a task of collecting you two up, so you're not wandering aimlessly, not knowing where exactly to go and all that stuff.
So how formal is Flex? Like, do we salute or whatever, or like?
I wouldn't.
Like
I wouldn't necessarily go. So here's the thing: Flex is an organization put together by a variety of people from a variety of backgrounds. You know, you've got plenty of people that come from the military, but you got plenty of people that come from other aspects as well. So Flex's standing regulations, if you will, there isn't necessarily the hardcore military. God damn it! I know this word. I know what it is. I just can't think of bearing and discipline and customs and customs and procedures and all that stuff. Some people individually may be like, well, I'm a such and such rank, salute me or act a certain way around me, blah 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 blah. But that's more of a person by person, case by case thing. Not you, but Wyatt, coming from more of a merchant marine side of things, is probably going to be a little bit more relaxed. Benefield.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't expect a salute, but I would expect my position and rank to be respected.
Oh, absolutely. And Benefield, who almost immediately recognizes you as the other person he needs to scoop up, and knowing that the other person he's scooping up is the ship XO, is like, he's giving some hardcore side eye to his peer, who's like, yo, I don't know what's going on here, but maybe just do what he says, and let's just get to the ship. And he actually kind of leans in to McAvoy a little bit. He's kind of like, listen, man, don't give him a hard time. I don't want to deal with this shit. Let's just get to the boat. And, of course, Benefield probably has some military background, so he probably would say ship and boat interchangeably, even though he's referring to the exact same thing.
All right, listen. As long as Georgie didn't take my cigar, everything's cool.
Okay, I gotta clarify. Hold on. I gotta clarify. You said that out of character, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank God.
He said something. He's like,
Okay.
Why don't you go ahead and make me?
Oh man, I really hope that laugh was in character.
No, that was that was me. But if you want to imagine it in character, you can.
That's your call. It's your character.
It's in character. Then he laughs at his face. Fuck you.
Ooh.
You're not gonna stop me from smoking. I'm a smoker.
Benefield kind of, even before the XO really probably gets a chance to say anything, Benefield's just gonna be like, listen, man, hey, let's bring this down a notch. Let's not get crazy. That is the XO. I don't know what kind of relationship y'all had before today, but today he's our XO.
That's just Georgie. Hey, Georgie, lay off, would you? Come on.
Don't soak in spaceships. We've had this conversation before. It wears out everything 10 times faster, and you're going to trigger a fucking fire suppression system. And do you want to get sprayed with fucking foam again?
Almost as if on cue, this little... I really want this droid type thing to just, like, float by, and it just is, like, a sphere with, like, 3 or 4 fire extinguishers on it, like, symmetrically around it. But I feel like it would probably be something more rolling along the road. Not the road, the walkway. And just, like, not necessarily even a fire extinguisher, more like maybe some sort of mobile fire detection kind of thing. Because, again, space is weird, and sometimes you have to be a little more vigilant than you would be on the ground.
Yes, of course.
But yeah, it's just something to come on its own, whiz by as a little accent to the point that George and Benefield are trying to make to you.
He puts it out on the nearest hard surface. No, he just throws his cigar on the floor and puts it out by stomping on it and kind of, there. All right.
I definitely was not facepalming in real life. Okay.
Smoke in a spacesuit, smoke when you're on atmosphere, but you don't smoke in space stations. I'm gonna be on a ship for God knows how long, recycling the same air and farts, and I don't need your fucking carcinogenics giving us all goddamn cancer.
Ugh.
Alright.
He hit him with that.
Beat.
He hit him with that 50-cent word. He hit him with that 50-cent word. Okay. So yeah, you guys resolve the cigar smoking situation. You start making your way over to the terminal. There's a as you go through various terminals, and you can see like gates, and gates in the same way that we would expect in an airport. They've got a couple of different TV screens up, and one of them is showing shows a recap of a recent GTL game. If you recall from the opening sequence, there's not a game itself. It's two sportscasters, I believe is the correct word I should use there. And you can overhear them briefly talking about how the debutantes are expected to lose their next match because their opponents, the Industrialists, are the heavily favored team, according to a variety of sports analysts and even gambling aficionados. But yeah, as you come up into the terminal or the gate, take a seat, wait a little bit. There's a shuttle that arrives. You can kind of see it like ease its way. There's not a lot of windows because windows are soft spots for spaceships and space stations, but there's a couple windows, not very big, but you kind of see this shuttle kind of float into view. You hear a few clanking sounds as the ship docks with the station. And then as you guys are actually crossing from airlock to airlock, probably as you're like right in the middle, most vulnerable, softest, weakest part of the two airlocks connecting to each other, you start to feel what, if you didn't know what else to call it, you would call it an earthquake.
Oh, okay, that wasn't in character.
I honestly, if that was in character, I would be totally okay with that response.
No,
a low rumble, and then suddenly there's like this, just like it's almost like a wave of violent shaking that somehow seems to fade pretty quick. But then as you're like crossing that last step or two, you start to hear decompression alarms sounding off. Loud at first, I might add, incredibly loud, but they also start getting quieter and quieter. Not like going from 100 to 20, but like going from 100 to 80 to 70 to 50, and then the door behind you closes, and the shuttle there's a I almost said flight attendant, but it's more like one of the crew chiefs or something like that on the shuttle, who's basically like, listen, get in, sit down, strap in, we gotta go.
I do it wordlessly. Like, fuck it. All right.
Yeah, that Marine / former pirate life is kicking in, huh?
I mean, you get told to do something, you fucking do it. If it's a superior, you fucking do it. It's
and even
simple.
if it's not, like if you get somebody, and this is like psychologically proven, and I don't know specifics, but if you have somebody's attention and you essentially bark orders at them, they are almost preconditioned without even knowing who you are, what is going on. A lot of people will maybe not necessarily do exactly what they were told, but they will start moving in that general direction. Someone is
I
like,
believe that. Yeah, especially, I guarantee you, especially, which is the point you were probably making with, like, old military guys, like veterans and shit.
Uh-huh.
Or people even still in the military, because, like,
the very first thing...
You get that drilled into your head, like...
Yeah, and the very first thing, especially, like, okay, you just got onto the shuttle as something weird is happening, and this dude is like, get in, sit down, strap in, we gotta go. And, like, you're already moving to grab a seat, to throw seatbelt restraints on, and you're like, before you even realize it, like, you're almost completely belted in before your brain starts kicking in. You're like, hey, so what's going on? What gives?
Yeah, I kind of went automo mode there for a second.
Yeah, exactly. Mr. Wyatt, what's going on in your character's mind at this point?
So we moved into a shuttle and we're being told to strap in. He'll strap in as best as we can. and he'll listen to the person who seems to be acting in place of authority. Generally, too many captains. That's how everyone dies. So
Yeah.
if someone knows what they're doing, it's best to just follow them.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, so the shuttle, like you guys are still like we're talking like a 5-point harness kind of restraint, because space can be weird and G forces are they quickly add up. But the shuttle, like you guys are barely finished getting belted in. The Benefield is strapped in. I'm just gonna call him flight attendant, even though in my head it's not an actual flight attendant. It's just like, that one dude that sits in the back and makes sure everybody's situated, and then radios up to the front. It's like, all right, let's go.
God, I feel like there's a name for that.
It's like crew chief or something like that is probably the closest term. Charles, I need your help for a second. Help me out. I feel like you might know.
It's either crew chief or cargo master.
Thank you. We'll go with crew chief because there's probably some cargo, but not on this particular section of the shuttle. Thank you. So yeah, the crew chief is belted in. He's he thumbs a little switch on the side of it, like on his. I imagine he's like wearing a vest, and he's probably got like a radio attached to it, a little walkie-talkie type deal, and he just thumbs it. All right, let's go. Get us out of here. And the shuttle almost immediately just detaches from the station, starts slewing to the right, to starboard. And as it does, you're able to catch a view. And the only thing that you're able to really see is like this gout of flame coming from the side of the hab ring that you were just on. But it's not like near you, it's more off like, so if you picture a hab ring with probably 4 spokes on it, it's like not quite 180 degrees away. We'll say like 120, 150 degrees away. But you see a gout of flame, and you can actually kind of see almost twinkling in the local starlight the bits of debris and other things and possibly dead bodies that are being ejected into space because of that blast.
Yeah. Sounds cool.
Not really. There's a bunch of people that just died. But yeah, we're gonna move on to Charles, our final player for the night. Charles, you, my friend, you've been on the ship at least for several hours. You caught an earlier flight from TIS over to the ship. So we're going to do a little bit of, technically this would be something of a flashback, but it's not really a flashback because, this is like it'll say on the screen something like 2 hours prior. Let's see, it's about 10 o'clock, and you are currently being led by one of the 2 stewards on the Wayfinder from the airlock at the front of the ship through the cargo area of the ship towards the rear. After a moment, you're led down a relatively short ladder into one of the 2 hab pods. Now, I have to point out, because I gave you guys, that diagram very hastily, shittily drawn by me of what your ship looks like last week. So the hab pods are currently retracted because you're docked to another station, not the one that the other 2 guys are on. You're at a different one. This is more of a it's Flex's station, and it's used for like maintenance cycles, refit cycles, repairs, and there's actually like on the far opposite end is a couple of actual construction slips.
Right.
And I picture like in the center. So basically, what I'm picturing is like you've got 1, maybe even 2 hab rings at the center of this structure, which is where the artificial gravity is, and then something sort of like 2. Obviously they're not flat planes, but kind of like 2 flat planes coming out from that center. You're at one end, and then at the opposite end of that is where the actual ship construction takes place.
Right.
So because obviously you're attached to this station, your hab pods are not in spin, so there's no actual gravity on the station. So you're following this steward, and again, there's 2 of them on the ship's crew. You caught his name. He obviously would have introduced himself. His name is Jarvis Tillman, and I promise you that I did not make the ship's junior butler I did not make his name Jarvis on purpose. It just randomly names and role positions assignments came up, and it just happened to be that we have Steward Jarvis Tillman. Anyway, the one thing you probably would have noticed about Jarvis right away is he's just this quiet, lean, poised, almost aristocratic-looking person. But his facial features don't give that away. Like it's his. God, what's the word I'm looking for? It's his. It is his demeanor. He acts as though he is this quiet, lean, poised person, but his face tells something totally different. He is Wellanese, from the nation of Welland, which of course is an independent nation on the surface of Terrain. He's got fair skin, short crop hair, and a thick beard that, while it's long and kind of rough looking, it's actually, on closer inspection, it's actually well maintained, cleaned, oiled, and the length is managed. So it's not like it's just like grown all willy-nilly. Like, he meticulously upkeeps his beard.
Right.
So anyway, so he takes you down into the hab pods, and then down a lift, and he drops you out onto a very short hallway, and ahead of you is a door. I guess in the Navy it would have been called a bulkhead. No, that's a wall.
A hatch.
A hatch. There you go.
Yeah.
I almost said portal. That's a window.
Yep. Yeah.
But there's a hatch, and there's a sign, and it says Master Crew Chief on one small sign, and then directly underneath it, E. Billingsley, and the door is currently closed. Tillman knocks on the door. Sorry, knocks. No, that doesn't matter. We all know what words we're talking about here. I just wanted to be funny. Tillman knocks on the door, and there's a gruff voice, "Enter." And then Tillman opens the door for you and allows you to step through. Inside, I wrote "do" instead of "door" in my notes. I just noticed that.
I have a question.
And my spell check didn't catch it. What's up?
Does this mean that Charles is like the highest ranking party member?
No, that's actually George.
Really?
Yeah, George is the highest ranking party member.
But he's the stupid merchant.
He's the XO.
Fair enough, actually. Anyways, continue. Sorry, I just wanted to know.
No worries. So inside this office, it's a very small office room. It is about 3 meters on a side, or roughly 10 feet across. There is a chair against one wall with a desk in front of it. And seated in that chair is a dark-skinned man, probably about 5'8", bulky in the shoulders and chest. His jet black hair is closely cropped and faded, presenting a stark military appearance, other than the fact that his face has probably about 2 or 3 days growth on it. This is Master Crew Chief Elliot Billingsley, and he promptly waves Tillman off, the guy that led you down here, who'll wander off to the galley. And there you are, standing in front of him. Billingsley will stand up, and he comes around inside the front, to the front side of the desk, and he leans back against it and folds his arms over his chest. And he's like, "So, tell me about yourself."
Mein Chief, my name is Fritz Helwig.
Oh, I
And
forgot he was German. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
German.
I am reporting to you from Innsbruck Station. I have just completed training, and I am probably 5'8",
Mhm.
with red auburn hair. I mean, not carrot top, definitely red. With glasses on, very Prussian-looking mustache, about 40 years old. I present my papers to him, but I'm not in the uniform yet. I am wearing I'm just wearing a business suit.
Okay.
And because my background being law enforcement and then an undercover agent for a corporate company, traveling incognito seems more reasonable than traveling in uniform.
And that makes sense. And you spent like 20-ish years doing all that, so this is probably second nature for you to not travel openly in uniform.
Yep. I mean, the only thing I have with me is my case, which has my extra clothing, 2 weapons I received on discharge from retirement from the corporate world,
Mm-hmm.
and a couple other things. And I basically present myself and say I am been assigned to this ship as an armsman. I have come to assume duties. I am ready to select my rack. Obviously, you are not ready for me. Where should I store my gear? And what is my reporting station?
Well, I'm Chief Billingsley. You'll be working for me. Do what I need done that I can't get to. Cap will have plenty for me to do. Not enough hours a day. So you'll be busy. Here,
Yeah.
I got Chief Broyles and that Tillman to look after too. But they're galley and foodstuffs. Your duties? Whatever I tell you to do. If we shoot at some ship, that's you. Damage control? You. Cargo handling? You guessed it. You. Stewards need help in the galley? That's you. Errand running? Also you. Questions?
9.
Good. This isn't a bad gig, I hear. We'll see, though. For you, do your job. Speak up when speak is needed. But listen. Always listen. And he taps an ear when he says that. Always listen. Here? Good. We don't have an operations department like many other ships. So it's just you and me. And I'm already tied up with other shit. So go to now. Store your stuff. Come back. We find something for you to do today, okay?
Yavo. And I proceed to, I don't want to say exactly click my heels, but
That would be a little weird.
You do a goose step on your way out, by the way.
No, don't. No. Nope.
no,
Nope.
no.
All right.
No, but I do give a quick bow, and I give a tap to the eye, and turn around and walk out.
Okay.
You uttered doom call.
You get a little notification on your link, and it is a quick download of the ship's, effectively the ship's floor plan or deck plan.
Okay.
And there's a marker indicating where your quarters are, and I'll be nice. It's in the same hab pod. It's just on a different level.
Right. I'll proceed to head that way. I mean, I have the subdural computer that was planted to me by the Rotterdam Arms Agency,
Right.
and I'm using that to kind of help guide myself to where I need to go to.
Yep. Absolutely.
And I get up to the locker. I'll find an empty locker, stow my gear, change out of my suit, and obviously put the uniform on.
Yeah.
Kind of grumbling and mumbling, but I'm putting the uniform on and start reviewing the information.
Yeah, so you probably, in that same download, or, either earlier along the way, or maybe in that same download that said, here's your room assignment, or quarters assignment. You've got a roommate. I haven't figured out who's going to be in every room, so we'll figure out roommates later.
Yep.
But you do have a roommate. But yeah, you get a general layout of, the ship's command structure, who's who, and where they, where their duty stations are. You get a little list of your specific duties and responsibilities based on your billet on the ship, which is basically not as short and straight to the point as the chief just gave you, but it is essentially what he just said. And then you also get another, it's more like a text message, but not an actual text, but it's basically Billingsley saying, hey, don't worry about coming back to the office. I need you to head down to the ATV bay and go ahead and check them out, make sure you're, basic maintenance, security, and not security, but like physically secured, because, we are expecting to move out, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And I'm gonna make my way that way, but I'm gonna do like the one the kids from Family Circus does, that on the Sundays where they still go like go tell your dad. So I'm gonna take the long route out and around to kind of explore 2 or 3 different routes to get down there.
Yeah, there's
So
probably a couple, but there's not much deviation. It's more like, do you take the right hallway this time, or you take the left hallway this time?
exactly, yeah. Just to kind of get the layout of the ship, and then I'm gonna get down there to the HP, and then start looking it over, sitting down in a couple of the console seats and fiddling with some switches.
Well, before you actually make it into an ATV, the first thing you notice is there's a couple of the ship's troops basically climbing all around and over and through the ATVs. And to be clear, it is 0G in this, throughout the entire ship right now.
Right.
So they're kind of bouncing around off of the bulkheads and off of the deck, and I don't know what the Navy would call the ceiling, but they're literally banging around. Nothing appears to be broken on first glance, but definitely these two knuckleheads are basically chasing each other around with dirty, oily rags, trying to slap each other with them. It seems as though this is like, this definitely seems like one of those stupid games that dumb privates would do when nobody's watching them.
Somebody must have read them.
Yeah, well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cough loudly and see if I catch their attention.
They don't. It's one of those moments where it's like you cough at almost the exact same time that one of them dips into what otherwise could be considered the front seat of the ATV, as the other one is coming out of the other side of the front of the ATV, and then like somehow squirrels his way down and underneath the front of the vehicle. Now, mind you, the ATVs are tracked, so in order to get underneath, you have to be around either the front or the back of the vehicle. So somehow he's like snaked his way out of the front seat of one ATV, serpentined his way around to the front, and then down and under it, and as though he is appearing to basically trying to find a way to slide his way down from the front side down. Listen, when you got nothing to do, privates get fucking ingenious and very engineering.
They get bored.
Yeah.
You know what?
And it's 0G. It's 0G. So it's almost like, and at this point you can't tell, are they just trying to slap each other with dirty, oily rags, or is this a race that they're trying to do, and this is some sort of stupid-ass obstacle course?
I feel like this is the part where I would walk in and fucking scream at these
You're
retards.
still on TIS waiting for Benefield to show up.
Man, I want to yell at these guys.
I know you do.
Well, and at which I'm going to scream at them myself with some sort of a mix of French and German expletives. Yeah.
Call them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. And, well, hang on. I'm going to scream at them that they, basically scream at them in French and German that unless they want to have a stunner applied to them, they need to pop tall and stand in front of me. And, or float in front of me.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard my little chuckle there. That's what I was picturing. It's not so much the standing, but the floating at attention.
Yep. And then, as I'm going to walk up to them, I'm going to grab the oily rag from them and just mutter loudly, almost an Irish stage whisper, "Doomcops, slap both of them, get off of my ATVs,
Okay.
report to chief."
Okay. So yeah. So they extricate themselves from the vehicle when they hear the voice of authority, because one thing is rank structure. These guys are literally just one rank beneath you, but there's also about 20 years difference in the ages of the three of you. You being 40-ish. I don't remember exactly, but these guys look like they are like neither of them have facial hair. And it doesn't look like they could grow facial hair if somebody put a gun to their head and gave them 2 days. One of them, his name tag reads Aiello. He is in. He's obviously some sort of. This sounds so bad when I say it like this, but he's obviously of Hispanic descent. The specifics are unknown at this point. When he does speak, his English, however, is impeccable. The other guy, Spearman, according to his name tag, he is. Don't see his specific. Oh, there he is. He is fair-skinned and red hair, and we're talking. This is Carrot Top red hair.
Yeah.
But he speaks German, but he has a very thick English accent. And again, like I said, both of these knuckleheads are, they might have been teenagers a few days ago.
Right.
No, they're actually 22, but I just wanted to point out how young they look.
Right. Yeah, I'm just yelling at them and I'm, basically just yelling at them and just start screaming at them and tell them to go report to the chief, and chase them out of the ATV bay, and say that they need to come back. They need to come back ready to work.
They both have. Well, I'll tell you. So let me ask you this. So they both kind of give you a slightly confused look. And one of them, Aiello, starts to speak up. He's like, "Listen." He looks at your name tag and he sees your rank and recognizes you as
Yeah.
senior armsman. He says, "Armsman, we're actually this is our place of duty. We don't want to do more maintenance, but it's preventative maintenance. Like the ATVs haven't gone anywhere. Why do we have to check the oil?"
Understood. And I'm looking around, like I'm staring them downly, but my eyes are darting all over the place, and I'm gonna look at them and basically say, "Understood." The junior, and I'm trying to
Trooper.
struggle
It's
because
just trooper.
I'm just yeah, okay, because I'm trying to learn the ranks. I haven't really studied that much. With
Right,
it, so
right.
I'm like trooper, but we got to maintain not only just cleanliness but preventative maintenance. Let's verify that there's nothing unsecured in this cargo bay, in this ATV bay. Two.
Nice.
And,
And you may
and,
notice that while they were bouncing around and sliding all over the place, slapping each other with dirty, oily rags, there is zero gravity and a lot of particulate matter all over the place right now.
Yep. And I'm just looking at them in disgust, and I'm gonna just presume that I should be able to not only eat off of this, but brush my teeth, comb my hair, and shave effectively.
Nice.
Two.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, so that will take them probably about an hour of going through the tasks. Go ahead.
And hanging on there and harassing them, detail.
Oh, they are not going to like you. But they'll do it because somebody's telling them to, and this is what and they know that this is what they're supposed to do, but they're not they're not grumbling, but you could tell every now and again you'll catch one of them giving you a little bit of side eye, and it's not a pretty glare that he's giving you.
Hey. Yeah, but I'm sizing them up, and I'm thinking probably that IL could probably get some training, and we'll figure out this all plays out later.
All right, we are at our first hour point, and that wraps up our first segment of what I wanted to get into this evening. We've got a couple more that I had planned. So let's go ahead and take a bit of a break. We'll come back in about 5 to 10 minutes, and we will continue with the EXO and one of the senior troopers coming aboard. And maybe we'll find out what the hell happened on TIS that caused it to go boom.
Okay.
Alrighty then.
All right, my friends. And for my viewers, we'll be back in a few minutes. Stick around.
Now, for all the other players here, I don't know about you.